Hey, and welcome to this week's Chamber Beat. I'm Ryan King here with Carrington Anderson, and thanks as always to Baker Donaldson and LBMC who sponsor this update every single week. So with that, I will get right down to business. The legislature is slowly starting to glide toward the conclusion of the legislative session. Next week we'll have 13 committees, both House committees and Senate committees, meeting, so it's becoming, Carrington, even more evident that the legislature is going to be finishing their business within the next month. The budget obviously is the main area of focus at this point. You can look back to either last week's update, or we'll include in this week's update kind of the Chamber's update of the budget. We also had a really good summary with Finance Committee Chairman over in the Senate, Bo Watson, running through a number of the items, especially the Chamber cares about, and the things we'll be working on in the coming weeks. A quick refresher on a couple of the items in the budget the Chamber is especially focused on. Number one is the Be Pro, Be Proud initiative, which is a workforce initiative. It's a mobile workforce unit that's currently funded in Governor Lee's budget. The other two are the Smart Factory Institute, which is a manufacturing training institute housed in Chattanooga, and also the Tennessee CAPS program, which is a workforce pipeline development initiative in concert with the Tennessee Chamber. Bill, we also want to tell you about what's actually just passed on the House floor earlier today is Senate Bill 2399, House Bill 2146. This bill is a product of an initiative from the governor, which really started around November of last year, called Operation Open Road. And it was the governor's initiative to really streamline and deregulate anything, any barrier, any hurdle that could be clogging our supply chain within the state of Tennessee, to the extent federal law would allow us to deregulate. A few things it does: it really opens up third-party testing. As many of you know, testing is one of the biggest issues that we face through the CDL shortage crisis in Tennessee. So we really should start to see more come online now that the law's passed by way of third-party testing. Also increase funding to the Department of Safety to hopefully shorten that time frame by which someone has to wait to get their CDL test. Also knocks down a number of barriers for drivers. If someone's had their CDL rescinded, it makes it easier to renew your CDL, and it also makes it easier for proctors. Knocks down a number of barriers for proctors to enter that space to actually proctor that test. Also, Carrington, TISA, a bill, Tennessee Investment in Student Achievement, the Chamber is now very supportive of, continue to move this week.
Yeah, I'm going to give an update on TISA, which is House Bill 2143 and Senate Bill 2396. So this student-centered funding formula is going to be replacing the BEP, the Basic Education Program. It adds $1 billion in new reoccurring state funds to K-12 education. The Chamber is supporting this legislation for a number of reasons, one of those being the new funding for strengthening CTE programs, which we feel is really important for our workforce and education initiatives. This bill was rolled 1 week in the Senate Finance, Ways and Means Committee, and it just got passed out of the House Education Administration Committee, and it's going to be moving on to the House GovOps Committee this Monday. Pass back to you.
Yeah, so number of things happening on the election and political front. Today would normally be the deadline for candidates for the Tennessee State House and Tennessee State Senate to file their final paperwork with their local election commission. Pursuant to a lawsuit which was upheld yesterday by a 3-judge panel in Tennessee, the state Senate's deadline is going to be extended to May 8th. So everybody else remains today. So if you look at the Secretary of State's information, everything should be current. You should know if you're a state house candidate or a congressional candidate or you're a supporter of one of those, if if someone has qualified and who's going to be on the ballot in August and November. Today, as we sit here, we have 18 lawmakers, both in the House and Senate, who have declared they won't be seeking re-election. So Carrington, we're going to see a huge turnover in next year's legislative class. Last thing I'll mention is a chamber-sponsored DC fly-in that we'll be hosting on June 13th. Obviously to DC, it's going to last until June 15th. A number of great activities scheduled, visits with our U.S. Senate delegation and U.S. Congressional delegation while we're in town. So you'll see more information in our update about that if you're interested. As always, call Carrington or myself if you want more information. And that's all we have for this week. Hope everyone has a good weekend, and thanks for watching this week's Chamber Beat.